Did you know that a katana has over 30 different parts, each with a specific purpose? In this video, I'm going to reveal every secret detail of this legendary Japanese sword that few people know about. Stay until the end because I'll show you the most surprising part that could save a samurai's life. The Japanese katana is one of the most well-known swords in the world. Swordsmiths in Japan created swords of high-carbon steel during the Kamakura period. The katana has a single-edged blade that is curved at one end. The sword is popular among collectors and people who practice martial arts, but few truly know the parts that make up this legendary weapon. In this video, we will talk about the different types of katana and all the parts it contains, how they were made, and their unique features. Get ready for a detailed journey through the universe of this iconic sword that defined the history of the samurai. Main katana parts. The main parts of a katana are created separately through different procedures that could take months to complete. The manufacturing process is a true art that has been passed down from generation in generation. The main parts of a katana include the blade, guard, handle, and scabbard. Each of these main parts is composed of several smaller components, each with its specific function and importance for the perfect operation of the sword. Blade. The blade is the most important part of the sword. The katana blade is designed to cut, slash, slice, and pierce with devastating efficiency. Let's explore each component of this masterpiece. Nagasa. The nagasa refers to the span and length of the katana's blade, beginning just under the tsuba handguard and ending at the kissaki tip. The blade is traditionally made out of folded tamahanagan steel, but today there are many other superior types of monocarbon steels available. Katana blade lengths are usually around 31 inches or 80 centimeters, single-edged and curved. The length determines the reach and cutting power of the sword. The crafting requires incredible skill, with the swordsmith carefully folding the steel multiple times, sometimes up to 16 folds, creating thousands of layers that strengthen the blade and create beautiful patterns. Kissaki. The kissaki is the tip of the katana's blade. Unlike European swords with tips pointed to the center, the kissaki's point is at the edge of the blade. This unique design gives the sword the ability to thrust effectively, allowing the samurai to both cut and stab. Popular variations include Chu Kissaki, medium, O Kissaki, large, Ko Kissaki, small, and the Ikari O Kissaki with more prominent curvature. Each type serves different purposes. The O Kissaki was favored during war for penetration power, while the Ko Kissaki is more delicate and found on older blades. Boshi. The boshi is the Hamon pattern at the end of the blade's tip in the Kissaki region. This is one of the most challenging features to achieve and demonstrates the bladesmith's experience. An ideally shaped boshi should follow the Hamon line and turn on itself to touch the yokote. A well-executed boshi is a sign of a master craftsman, and collectors pay close attention to this when evaluating a katana's quality and authenticity. Hi or blood groove. The groove or fuller on a katana blade is called a hi. Despite being called a blood groove, this is inaccurate. It doesn't help extract blood. Instead, the groove lightens the blade without compromising structural integrity and gives the sword unique aesthetic appeal. Popular shapes include bohi, soehi, naginata-hi, tome-hi, kakinagashi-hi, koshu-hi, and shobu-hi. The hi also produces a distinctive whistling sound when swung, which some believe had a psychological effect on opponents. Hamon. The hamon refers to the wave-like pattern on the blade surface resulting from the tempering process. Traditionally made katanas are differentially hardened using a clay tempering method, where clay is only added on the blade's edge to make it harder. This creates the visible hamon pattern while resulting in a harder, sharper edge. The hamon represents the boundary between the hard edge and softer spine, giving the katana its legendary cutting ability while maintaining flexibility. Different swordsmiths developed signature hamon patterns including straight lines, notare, and clove-shaped patterns, chochi. Ha. The ha is the razor-sharp edge of the katana, the most dangerous part. It is differentially hardened to ensure it's harder and more rigid than the rest of the blade, achieving hardness exceeding 60 on the Rockwell scale. Finding the balance between hardness and sharpness is crucial. Too sharp and the blade becomes too thin and may break. The edge angle, typically between 15 and 20 degrees, is carefully maintained for optimal cutting performance. Samurai warriors regularly maintained their ha, as even a small chip could compromise effectiveness in battle. Mune. The back of the blade is called mune. Flatter and wider than the cutting edge, it's made of soft and medium steels to make the katana flexible and less brittle. The mune serves as the structural backbone. While the ha provides cutting power, the mune provides strength and flexibility that prevents breaking during combat. Skilled samurai warriors could use the mune defensively to block or deflect attacks, preserving the sharp edge for offensive strikes. Sori. The term sori refers to the blade's curvature, what makes the katana different from straight blades. Traditional shapes include tori-sori, saki-sori, and koshi-sori. A katana without a sori is not a real katana blade. The curvature allows for more effective cutting through a drawing motion, where the blade slides across the target. The amount and location of the curve changed throughout history. Early blades had more curvature near the base, koshi-sori, ideal for mounted combat, while later periods saw the curve move toward the tip, saki-sori, better for foot combat. Shinogi. The shinogi is the ridgeline where the sword goes from the angled part forming the edge to the shinogi-ji, the flat part of the blade. The higher the ridgeline, the better a sword cuts harder targets. A medium-height ridgeline is most versatile for both light and heavy targets. Blades without a shinogi are called hirazukuri. The shinogi creates distinctive cross-sectional geometry, providing both strength and cutting efficiency. Shinogi-ji, the area between the blade's spine and the shinogi ridge, is usually a brighter part of the blade and typically doesn't feature the Hamon pattern. The surface finish is carefully polished to reveal the beauty of the steel and the grain pattern. Yokote. The yokote is the line from which the Kissaki starts. Most katanas have this feature for aesthetic reasons and to give the Kissaki different sharpening and tapering profiles.
The yokote creates a distinct visual boundary, emphasizing the Kissaki as a separate, important element. A clear, straight yokote is a sign of quality craftsmanship and helps date a sword and identify its maker. Jihada. The jihada is the visible grain pattern spotted on traditionally made katanas. It results from the Tanren blacksmithing technique of folding tamahagane steel with a mallet. Common patterns include itame, wood grain, mokume, burl, masame, straight grain, and ayasugi, curved grain. The jihada is like a fingerprint for the blade, unique to each sword. Experts examine it to determine steel quality and the swordsmith's skill. Nakago or makago. The nakago is the tang of the blade, the unsharpened extension that goes inside the handle. To see the nakago, the handle must be disassembled. It's typically left in its forged state with a rough finish called nakago yasuri that helps grip the wooden handle. The nakago is where important information about the sword is recorded, including signatures, dates, and inscriptions. A certified bladesmith would carve their signature on the tang. Based on the mi, one can track the sword back to a particular time or bladesmith in history. The mi typically includes the swordsmith's name and sometimes the date of manufacture, province, or commissioner's name. Reading mi requires specialized knowledge, as famous swordsmith signatures are well documented, but forgeries are common. Munemachi and hamachi. The munemachi is a 3 to 5 millimeter notch on the spine that fits into the habaki blade collar. It's used to measure the blade from the notch to the Kissaki tip. The hamachi is the notch between the cutting edge and tang, on the other side of the munemachi. These notches serve as the boundary between the polished blade and unpolished tang, providing a secure seating point for the habaki. If you're enjoying this detailed breakdown of the katana's components, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into Japanese sword culture and martial arts. Guard, tsuba. The guard fittings are where the blade and handle come into contact. A katana with weak tsuba and fittings is not very useful. Tsuba. The hand guard on a samurai sword is called a tsuba, providing both protection and aesthetics. Each katana guard is beautifully made with traditional designs featuring flowers, dragons, historical figures like Miyamoto Musashi, and natural symbols. While most tsuba are circular, some are square or rectangular. When an opponent slides his blade down towards the wielder's hands, the tsuba keeps them safe. Tsuba were often made by specialized craftsmen called tsubashi, who developed their own styles and created pieces valued as independent works of art. Important tsuba parts include hira, the surface, traditionally iron, mimi, the hardened rim for shielding, Nakago ana, the central opening for the blade. Sekigane, fillers holding the blade tightly. Hitsu ana, additional openings for aesthetics and weight reduction. And mi, the creator's signature. Habaki. The habaki is the blade collar attached to the bottom of the blade. It's called the heart fitting of the katana and gets damaged most if used for cutting practice, requiring regular maintenance or replacement. The habaki locks the sword into the scabbard with a tight friction fit, preventing accidental falling or rattling. It's typically made of copper or brass, though high-end examples use silver or gold. Fuchi. The fuchi is the metal sleeve between the handle and guard, keeping the suka and other pieces together. Usually made of iron, brass, or copper, it adds reinforcement to the entire handle in tsuba. The fuchi works with the kashira, the pommel, to secure the handle wrapping, often made as a matching set called fuchi kashira with complementary designs. Seppa. The seppa are brass pieces placed behind the habaki and above the fuchi. There are two seppa fittings that keep the guard in place and prevent it from sliding off the blade. These thin washers may seem insignificant, but play a crucial role, filling small gaps and ensuring all fittings are held tightly when the handle is secured with makugi pegs. Suka. Handle. A sturdy katana requires a firm handle called a suka. The handle may contain personal and symbolic inscriptions and is often a work of art. Some see it as the most important part, since a high-quality katana is nothing without a proper handle. Suka. The suka is the wooden grip that slides onto the tang to become the sword's handle. This wooden core sits underneath the rest of the handle parts and usually cannot be seen unless disassembled. The wood is typically honoki, which is lightweight, strong, and has good shock-absorbing properties. The shape has an oval cross-section that fits naturally in the hand and prevents rotation during use. Samagawa. The same or samagawa is the layer wrapped under the suka ito, made of leather, ray skin, or shark belly. Authentic ray skin is prized for its durability and texture. The small hard nodules provide excellent grip even when wet. The samagawa can only be seen through the openings of the sukamaki, and besides aesthetic appeal, its rough surface gives the sword good grip. Suka ito. The suka ito is the patterned wrap around the wooden handle, made of silk, cotton, or leather. Traditional suka ito is silk, which is strong, comfortable, and develops a pleasant patina with use. This string is wrapped tightly for better grip. The wrapping process is a skill that takes time and practice to master. The color is chosen to complement other fittings, with traditional colors including black, dark blue, brown, and burgundy.
Sukamaki. The process of wrapping the suka ito around the suka is called sukamaki. Common versions include katatemaki, shinogimaki, tsunamimaki, gankimaki, and kata hineramaki. The most common style is hinerimaki, where the ito is twisted as wrapped, creating diamond-shaped openings revealing the samagawa beneath. This pattern is attractive and functional, providing texture and grip points. Proper sukamaki requires consistent tension throughout. Too loose and it shifts, too tight and it damages the samagawa. Minuki. Minuki are small, ornate symbols and sculptures placed on top of the ray skin, often featuring animals, flowers, nature, or personal symbols important to the owner. These decorative pieces also improve grip. Originally, the minuki covered the tang holes, mekugiana, though some swordsmiths prefer them separate for aesthetics. The minuki are positioned where the index and ring fingers naturally rest, providing tactile reference points for proper hand position. Designs often have symbolic meaning. Dragons represent power, tigers represent courage, cranes represent longevity.
Makugi and Makugi Anamakugi. Makugi are two tiny bamboo pegs that firmly attach the wooden handle to the blade, playing a similar role to screws. Both the tang and handle have these little holes, Makugi Ana, that line up perfectly when assembled. Despite their small size, they're critical components withstanding significant forces. Bamboo is used because it's strong, flexible, and slightly compressible. Traditional Makugi are tapered and can be removed by tapping out from one side, allowing disassembly for maintenance. Maki-dome. The last step in wrapping the tsuka ito is called maki-dome. The tsuka ito comes together in a knot on one side of the handle when the wrapping goes through the kashira, pommel. The maki-dome must be tied securely but neatly as it's visible and contributes to overall appearance. A properly executed maki-dome won't loosen over time, even with regular use. Kashira, pommel. The kashira, pommel, is the cap attached to the bottom end of the katana. Made with strong material, it can be used to hit opponents in close range, adds to the tsuka's sturdiness, and improves overall balance. The kashira is also a decorative piece that holds the handle wrapping and has a tiny hole for the maki-dome. It typically matches the fuchi in design and material. The weight and shape affect the sword's balance point. A heavier kashira moves balance toward the handle for maneuverability, while a lighter one shifts it toward the blade for cutting power. Saya, scabbard. The saya, or sheath, makes it easy to carry the katana and keeps the blade from oxidizing or rusting. Japanese warriors always kept their katana sheathed when not in use. Japanese swordsmiths made the saya to fit each katana precisely in terms of size, length, and width. The creation of the scabbard is seen as a work of art, ensuring the sheathing and unsheathing process is smooth and quick. The wood is typically honoki, chosen because it doesn't contain resins or oils that could damage the blade, and naturally absorbs moisture. The saya is made from 2 carved wood pieces that create a channel perfectly fitting the blade. A shira saya is a plain wooden scabbard made as a long-term storage solution, providing the best environment for blade preservation. The exterior can be lacquered in various colors, wrapped in leather, or decorated with inlays. Sageo. The thick cord holding the saya to the wielder's back, shoulder, or belt is called a sageo. Wrapping through the kurakata, it makes carrying easier. Traditionally made of silk, leather, or cotton, it's tied around the koiguchi linked to the obi, traditional Japanese belt. The sageo serves multiple purposes beyond securing the sword. It can be used to tie up prisoners, serve as a tourniquet, or even as a climbing aid. The length is typically 6 to 8 feet or more, allowing various tying methods. Kurakata. The kurakata is the small extension on the scabbard that allows placement of rope or cord through it. Traditionally made from water buffalo horn, metals like iron, brass, copper, or silver can be used today. The kurakata must be strong enough to support the sword's weight and withstand daily wear stresses. It's attached to the saya with small pins or pegs. The position is carefully chosen based on how the sword will be worn. Shitodome. The decorative metal piece that strengthens the kurakata is called a shitodome. Occasionally made of gold for aesthetics, its practical purpose is tightening the kurakata hole for a tighter fit. The shitodome prevents the sageo from wearing through the kurakata over time, providing a durable surface that resists abrasion. Koiguchi. The koiguchi is the opening of the saya, allowing the sword to slide into the sheath. Specific materials are used to produce a certain sound when unsheathed, especially for ceremonial swords. Traditionally made of wood or buffalo horn and polished inside for easy sheathing and unsheathing, it's crucial for the koiguchi to fit with the habaki so the scabbard can click on and stay sheathed. The fit between koiguchi and habaki is critical for safety. The friction must be strong enough to prevent accidental falling, but not so tight that drawing requires excessive force. Koiguchi ito. The koiguchi ito is rope attached to the katana for carrying on the shoulder or back going through the kurakata. Although not as common as the sageo, it's found on some katanas when carried in a relaxed manner rather than the traditional style. It provides an alternative carrying method that may be more comfortable for long distances. Kojiri. The kojiri is the end cap of the saya, the very end that houses the kissaki. Traditionally made of water buffalo horn, it can also be made of metal like brass or copper. The kojiri protects the scabbard end from damage and wear and prevents moisture from entering from the bottom. A well-fitted kojiri creates a seal that maintains the dry environment inside the saya, protecting the blade from rust. Like other fittings, it can be decorative as well as functional. We've now covered every single part of the katana. If you enjoyed this complete guide, make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more content about Japanese swords, martial arts, and samurai culture. Leave a comment below telling us which part you found most interesting. Now you understand every single part of the katana, from the razor-sharp ha edge to the protective kojiri cap at the end of the scabbard. Each component, no matter how small, plays a crucial role in making the katana one of the most effective and beautiful weapons ever created. The Japanese swordsmiths who developed these techniques over centuries created not just weapons, but works of art that embody the spirit and philosophy of the samurai. The katana represents the perfect marriage of form and function.
where every element serves both a practical purpose and contributes to the overall aesthetic. Understanding these parts gives us a deeper appreciation for the skill, knowledge, and dedication required to create an authentic Japanese sword. Whether you're a collector, martial artist, or simply someone fascinated by Japanese culture and history, knowing the parts of the katana connects you to a tradition spanning over 1,000 years.